Today's lesson is called Photoshop Tools. It is in your modules August 13th through August 16th. And we are going to go over how to download an image to use as a worksheet and then complete the worksheet using various basic Photoshop drawing tools. So if you need your Photoshop Tools worksheet and you know you finished it, it's in the bucket. If you want to grab it, it is in the red bucket, the magenta bucket. If I head over to the assignment here, you will see that the assignment is broken up into different sections. We have the learning targets, the success criteria. There is a required download, so you are going to need to download that file from Google Drive. Underneath the required download, we have the digital copies of the instructions in English, Spanish, and French. If you would like a paper copy of the instructions in English, they are up next to this yellow bucket up at the front. If you need a paper copy in Spanish or French, please ask me. I will print you a fresh one. Below the instructions, we have my teacher example. There will be a demonstration recording. That's what I'm doing right now. And then instructions that you have two files to turn into Canvas for this, a PSD and a PNG file, and nothing to turn into the bucket. So I'm going to go ahead and open the English copy of the instructions here. DD Basic Tools Checklist is what it is called. And step 1 says that I need to go to Canvas, find the correct assignment, download the template file. So I'm going to go back up to where it says required download. I'm going to click on this file here. It's going to open in Google Drive. I'm going to go over to the download and I'm going to download it to my downloads folder. That is all of step 1. Step 2, we need to open Photoshop and then open the file that we just downloaded. So I have Photoshop open. Open, go to my downloads, basic drawing template, and there we go. So there is that. Now before I start doing anything, I need to save my file as a Photoshop document so that when I go to save it later, I can keep all my layers and everything intact. So I'm going to go back to Photoshop, File, Save As, and it's going to be your last name, then first name. And then the assignment title is Basic Tools. So it would be last name, first name, Basic Tools. Basic Tools. I need to change this format from PNG to Photoshop. So this should be basictools.psd. And I want to move it. Don't want to save it in my downloads. I want to save it in my documents or your assignments folder, whichever you have available. Make sure you keep this embed color profile checked and then click Save. So this is how you are going to open and save worksheets, whether it is an image like a PNG worksheet or whether I give you a PSD Photoshop worksheet. You're always going to start by saving it with your own name in the file. The reason why is because if I download a bunch of files and they're all called basictoolstemplate.psd, they're all going to overwrite each other and I'm never going to figure out whose is whose because half of them are going to disappear. So you need to make sure that your name, last and first, are on every assignment in the file name. And speaking of your last and first name, Your next step is going to be using the horizontal type tool and typing your name and class period. First, last, and then class period. Hold on, let me reset my workspace here. Why is that doing that? Let's try that again. Oh, I'm still in index color, shoot. Image mode, RGB color, there we go. Just select another tool. Usually the safest tool to select is the move tool, just to kind of set it to something that won't mess anything up. All right. Okay, so I will come around and answer questions as soon as I'm done recording the demonstration. Unless you have a question. So if we head on down to step 4, and we're on page 2 if you're following along with the paper copy, we are going to start by using the brush tool. And the instructions here, just going to zoom in, say using any brush tool preset with the color set to blue, write out your first name. With a red brush, write your last name. So I'm going to start by finding my brush tool. And then I'm going to set my foreground color to blue, some shade of blue. And then if I click here, this says this type layer must be rasterized before proceeding. Its text will no longer be editable. You can go ahead and rasterize this and just work on the layer with your text. If you want to be able to go back and change your text, then what you'll want to do is make a new layer for all of your brushwork. So to make a new layer, you're going to go down here to your layers panel, find the trash can, and then go go left from the trash can for the new layer button. If you're not worried about having to retype your name, you can just go ahead and write on that layer. So it says any brush preset, any brush tool preset. So up here in the top corner near your traffic light, you will see the brush presets and the brush settings, and also this button here, which will allow you to open your brushes and brush settings over here on this side. So I am just going to use whatever brush that I used last time. Looks like it's the soft round. And I am going to write my name as legibly as possible with a blue brush. Then it says with a red brush, write your last name. So I'm going to come over here and change the color to red. And I'm going to just choose a different brush. This one is a hard round brush. The first one was a soft round brush. And no, I'm not very good at using a mouse to write things. So that's step 1, your first name in blue, your last name in red, all done with the brush tool. For the second one, it says we need to use the pencil tool. The pencil tool is nested under the brush tool, right here. With the color set to orange, draw a smiley face. Pretty easy. With the color set to green, draw a silly face. Any shade of green is fine. And there's a silly face. So if you notice, when you're working with the pencil tool, you are actually using the brush settings to decide the size and the shape of the pencil tool, but you won't be able to get any of the softness or anything that's not pixelated, because the purpose of the pencil tool is to be pixel precision. So if I zoom in here, wrong zoom, if I zoom in here really close, you can see that the pencil tool only creates jagged pixelated lines, while the brush tool creates fuzzy anti-aliased lines. Whoops. Whee! Okay. All right, I'm going to go ahead and jump into number 3. And before we start the actual thing, I want to talk a little bit about shapes and shape layers. So I'm going to pull my layers window over here so it's a little more obvious what I'm doing, and I'm going to make it taller so that you'll see as my shapes stack up. So right now I have 3 layers. You might have just 2. I have 3. Layer 1, which has the worksheet on it. The text layer, which has my name and class period on it. And then layer 2, which so far has all of the brush and pencil work that I did in rectangles 1 and 2. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to find my rectangle tool, and I'm just going to draw a rectangle, like so. So if you see, what should happen is right above your layer 2 or your text layer, whatever layer you're on, there should be a rectangle 1 layer to show that you have made a shape layer that contains a rectangle. With that shape layer selected, I can then go in and do things like change the fill. So right now my fill is set to no color, which is why there's no color in it. So I'm going to set it to green. And I can also change the stroke and the stroke size. Whoops, that's way too big. And the stroke style. Dotted, dashed. If you don't want to stroke at all, you just have to go and click the stroke button and go to no color, and that will take the stroke away. So that's pretty much it for the rectangle. If I make another rectangle, it's going to have the same properties as the first rectangle by default. It's going to remember what you did last time, but it's going to make a separate layer, or it should make a separate layer called rectangle 2. So I'm going to change rectangle 2 to be blue so we can tell the difference here. So I've got rectangle 1 and I've got rectangle 2. Sorry. Okay. So the instructions say that I need to create a simple pattern of perfect circles and squares. Well, right now I have a rectangle and not a square. So I'm going to choose my blue rectangle here. And I'm going to go over to the Transform section of the Properties panel. And I just need to make sure that my W for width and my H for height are the same size in order for it to be a square. So 1 inch by 1 inch, it's a square. If you want to change this and you want to keep these the same, you can click this link here and then change this to whatever you want, and it should stay the same. I'm gonna delete, let's go ahead and make this a square real quick. Nope, that's a rectangle. There we go. All right, I'm gonna delete rectangle 2 here because I wanna show you another way you can create a perfect square. If you're moving fast, if you're going fast, when you select your rectangle tool, click and drag to create your rectangle. Before you let go of your mouse, if you hold the Shift key, it will lock it into a perfect square. Let go of the mouse, then let go of the key. Gesundheit. Click, drag, hold Shift, let go of the mouse, let go of the key. Perfect squares. Click, drag, Shift, let go of the mouse, let go of the key. Click, drag, Shift, let go of the mouse, let go of the key. So there's my 5 squares. Now I'm going to switch over to my Ellipse tool. It works exactly the same as the rectangle tool, in that if you hold down Shift, you will make a perfect circle. Shift, drag, release mouse, release key. I'm going to change my circle colors to be something else. Whoops. I have made an error. One moment. Sorry. Don't have that selected. Don't be selected. And then there we go. If you are holding Shift while you have something else selected, another shape selected, it will put them on the same layer. You can see they're all building up here on rectangle 5. Let's make this a little bigger so we can see. Layer bounds. There we go. So if we don't want that, you have to make sure that you click first, then hold Shift, then release, then release. Okay, the other thing I want to show you how to do to start saving time. You can copy and paste things just like you can in pretty much any other program. I select Ellipse 1, go to File, Edit, Copy, Edit, Paste, and it's going to paste a copy of my layer. You can tell it's a copy because in the Layers panel, they have the same name. It's Ellipse 1 and Ellipse 1. I'm going to change this to Ellipse 2 so I don't get confused. If I want the copy to be a different size, all I have to do is edit that transform. Maybe I want this one to be smaller. There we go. Select the layer you want to copy, edit, copy, edit, paste. Edit, copy, edit, paste. It's on the toolbar at the menu bar at the top, next to File. Edit, copy, edit, paste. Your other option is you can use Command C and Command V just like you do in like Google Docs. Command C, Command V. Command V. And then you can do whatever you want with these guys. It just says create a pattern. They can be any color. Any color. You can put strokes on them if you want. It does not matter to me. I just want to know that you understand how the shape tools work. And that you can duplicate or otherwise create copies of existing things. That is bad to look at. Let's go for like a dark green. There we go. All right. For rectangle number 4, we're going to be using the Polygon tool to create 4 star shapes. One with 5 points, one with 6 points, one with 7 points, and one with 10 points. And then we're going to turn the 10-point star into a sun by adding a circle. So first we're going to start by finding our Polygon tool, which is nested right now under the Ellipse tool. And I'm just going to click and drag to create a default polygon. Use my move tool, move it over so we can see it. By default, the polygon is just going to be, it's usually a pentagon, I think. Sometimes it's a hexagon, depending on what your last settings were. I'm going to go ahead and change mine to a different color here. And what I need to focus on to make this into a star is I need to focus on this section of the properties panel with the appearance. We have a slider for number of sides. If you go too high, it just turns into a circle. You go too low, it turns into a triangle. And we have this guy here, which is the star ratio. If I bring it down, you will see it become more star-shaped, and then eventually it gets really skinny. So 50% is going to give you the basic symmetrical equilateral star. So there's one, there's my 5-pointed star. What I'm going to do here is I'm just going to copy and paste this. Or not, because it doesn't want me to copy it. Interesting. Okay, I'm going to use the other way of copying something, and I'm going to right-click on the layer and choose Duplicate Layer. And I'm going to duplicate the layer as Polygon 2. I'm going to make Polygon 2 a different color so that it's easy to tell them apart. And I need to change it so it has 6 points instead of 5 points. So I'm going to go over here to the number of sides and change that into a 6-pointed star. I can mess around with this if I want the star to be spikier or chunkier. You can also add a roundness to it if you would like. This one it will let me copy, so I'm going to edit, copy, edit, paste. Yes. Hit Command Shift Z to redo. No, Command Z to undo. That should get it for you. You can undo pretty much anything in Photoshop. There's my 7-point star. I'm going to make this one more like that, and let's make this one green. Just for funsies. And then I'm going to finally copy this one, edit, copy, edit, paste. And I'm going to turn this one into my 10-point star. And I'm going to make this one skinny and like a yellow color. So there's my 10-point star. And the last thing it says is add a circle to the 10-point star to make it a sun. So I'm going to go back to my ellipse tool, drag, hold shift, release mouse. I'm going to make this a different color. And then the key to making it so that the circle sits on top of your sun is to make sure that the ellipse layer with your circle in it is physically above your polygon layer. If it's underneath, it's not going to show through. We want to make sure it's physically above your polygon layer. So if I stack these up, you'll see that my red star is on the bottom, my blue star is in the middle, and my green star is on top. If I wanted to reorder those, I could do that. And that is it for that exercise. Go over here to turn it into a star. Go over here to your Polygon properties panel, shape properties panel. Go all the way down below where you change the color and find the little symbol that looks like a star sitting inside of a pentagon. Change that to something that's between 20 and 80. 50 will give you the basic star. And then from here, we're just going to make sure that it's saved. We're going to export as. And for this one, we don't want transparency. And we want the scale to be 50% so it's not absolutely ginormous. And then just click export. 50% for the scale. And that's it. That's the basic tools assignment.